I'm Alex, one of the expert TOEFL teachers here at E2 Language, and in this video we are talking about TOEFL integrated writing. TOEFL integrated writing, note-taking for reading. In this video I'm going to tell you all about TOEFL integrated writing, and we're going to focus on the reading part of it and learn how to take notes. I'll describe the integrated writing task. We'll read a passage together and complete a note-taking template. So let's start by talking about TOEFL integrated writing. What happens in this task? Now, there are basically 3 steps. Firstly, you read a passage and take notes for about 3 minutes. Then you're going to listen to a lecture on the same topic and take more notes. This goes for about 2 minutes. And finally, you write an integrated summary where you bring the information together from the reading and the listening, and you have 20 minutes to do this part. In this video, we're working on this part here, reading a passage and taking notes. Now, the reading does appear again after you've done the listening, so why do you need to take notes? Well, the notes are going to save you time in the end. You don't want to be reading and rereading the same passage. So in that 3 minutes at the beginning, taking effective notes is really going to help you when it comes to writing your summary. So this is a typical reading passage, and this is the template for our note-taking. On the left, we've got a column for main idea, and on the right, we've got a column for the details. So as you're reading that text, you're looking for the main ideas. And almost always, there are going to be 3 of them, 3 main ideas in the reading passage. And for each idea, there's supporting details as well. So how do we find the main ideas? The first place you should look is the topic sentence. Now, what is a topic sentence? It's the first line of every paragraph. So in the text that we've got here, there are 3 paragraphs. That means there are 3 topic sentences. Now, we look to the topic sentence because that usually tells us what's coming up in the paragraph. So let's look at this first one together. While scientists have claimed that climate change should cause sea levels to rise at increasing rates because of melting ice caps in Greenland and Antarctica, sea level rise has slowed. All right, so it seems to me like the main idea is sea levels and how climate change affects them. If I want to just confirm that that's the main idea, I can skim quickly through the rest of the paragraph, looking for repeated words or ideas. If the same word or idea appears a few times, it's pretty obvious that that's the main point of this paragraph. So when I look through really quickly, you can see sea level rise, quite a lot of instances. So this confirms to me this is my first main point. And I'll pop it here as my first main idea. But I need a little bit more. I need to know what the writer is saying about sea level. So I actually need to slow down a little bit and read the paragraph now. So let's have a look together. After that first sentence, the writer continues, sea levels have always risen between ice ages or during interglacial periods. Indeed, sea levels have risen more than 400 feet since the end of the last interglacial period. Now, a word like this, indeed, and I can see the next word coming up is however, these words really send off an alarm in my head. They make me pay attention. So indeed is going to give me some evidence or an example to support the sentence before. However is going to contradict that information. So indeed, sea levels have risen. However, the rate of sea level rise since 1961 is far lower than the historic average since the end of the previous ice age, so far lower. Also, there's another trigger word, also, more information, measured sea level rise is well below the rise predicted by those climate models, claiming sea levels would increase because of anthropogenic warming. So I can see in there were predictions about sea level rising, but the key points here are actually it hasn't risen as much as expected. So yes, sea levels have always risen between ice ages, but the rise since 61 is far lower than the historic average and well below the rise predicted by experts. So these are my important details. And I scribble them on my note paper. Always a rise between ice ages, recent rises lower than the historic average, and the rise lower than predicted. All of that on test day should take about 1 minute. So you're working really quickly, but still reading quite carefully. So now let's move on to body paragraph 2. We're looking for our second main idea. I've got the feeling now this text is all about climate change. The first main idea related to rising sea levels. I'm going to look for the second one now. So let's start with the topic sentence. We'll read it together. Based on climate models' projections of land and ecosystem shifts and changes, biologists have predicted global warming would cause numerous plant and wildlife extinctions. Yet, they have been unable to point to a single instance of a species going extinct due to human-caused climate change thus far. So from that first sentence there, I get the feeling that we're throwing climate change into some doubt here. And to me, the main point that catches my eye is this extinctions, plant and wildlife or animal extinctions. And when I run my eye through the paragraph, I can see something about polar bears, a decline, grown dramatically, populations have declined. So I'm pretty confident this is my main point. It's all about wildlife extinction. But what exactly does the writer say about wildlife extinction? Let's read a little more carefully. From the second sentence. For instance, although sea ice in the Arctic has declined over the past 20 years, polar bears, which various scientists predicted would be driven to extinction due to declining sea ice sea levels, have proven highly adaptable. So polar bears, they predicted a decline, but they have proven highly adaptable. Their populations have grown dramatically over the past 60 years, from approximately 5,000 bears in the 1950s to more than 25,000 today. In the few locations in which populations have declined, temperatures have been cooler, not warmer than average, during the past few decades. So seeing a lot of information here about what experts and scientists predicted would happen, mass extinction, decline in polar bears, and what has actually happened, which is no extinctions and increase in polar bear populations. So these are my details, and I'll scribble them on my notepad. So no instance of extinction due to climate change reported. Polar bears were predicted to be extinct, but numbers have risen. So now I need my third point. I'm going to look to the third paragraph for this. Let's try the topic sentence. Scientists have also claimed climate change is causing the oceans to warm and become more acidic. Oceans to become warm and more acidic. So I've really got a feeling now of what the structure of this passage is. So I'm pretty confident this is the main point in body 3, ocean acidity. Everything is in relation to climate change. What does it say about ocean acidity? Scientists point to widespread coral bleaching and coral reef deaths as proof and as a warning of the worsening conditions that will come if the global warming problem isn't solved immediately. However, here's one of those trigger words, however, as with the alleged polar bear extinction crisis, the rumours of coral reefs deaths have been greatly exaggerated. Coral reefs evolved during and survived through several more dramatic climate shifts than the one the world is currently undergoing, and they have proven much more resilient than climate alarmists have claimed. All right, so same thing as with the polar bears. It was expected that coral reefs would die off and bleach, but these have been exaggerated. Coral reefs evolved and survived during more dramatic climate change. So these are my details. It's focusing on coral bleaching, which people expected to happen as a result of acidity, but these rumours are exaggerated. Coral reefs have survived other dramatic changes. So now I've got my 3 main points. I've got a bunch of details here. So now that we've got our 3 main points from the reading and some notes, we are ready to do the listening part of this task. So as we listen, we're also going to take notes. If you want to do some work on that, make sure you come and sign up at e2language.com. Once you've done some practice in the course materials and joined our live classes, try our mini mock test. This gives you a taste of all the TOEFL tasks and gives you an indication of what your score will be. Everything you need for your TOEFL preparation is there on e2language.com.